Streets of Rage 2, still one of the best beat-em-ups ever made. I loved it as a kid and I still love it today. But do you remember the special moves they added to this game? Every character had 2 each, and they were mapped to the A button. They were powerful and great when you were surrounded, but the drawback is that every time you used one it drained a little bit of your own health bar. It was a fun little risk-reward mechanic. However, in all the times I played Streets of Rage 2, I would avoid using special moves whenever I could, so as not to drain my own life too much. But that got me to thinking, can Streets of Rage 2 be beaten by only using special moves? Let's find out. Now there's only really one rule to this challenge. I can only use special moves to attack either enemies or breakable objects. Jumping is fine, and so is grappling the enemies, as that doesn't actually cause any damage. If I accidentally hit an enemy with any other type of attack, or if I lose all my lives and continues, I must start all over again. I'm going to be doing this challenge with Axel for no other reason than I think he's cool. The very first thing I want to do is pick up this hidden extra life at the beginning of the first level. It's right down here. This is the first of 5 extra lives you can collect in the game, and I'll be grabbing all 5. The main tactic I want to be using in combat almost throughout is luring all the enemies on screen into large groups. This allows me to damage as many of them as I can with just a single strong special move, and thus minimising the amount of health I'm draining. I also need to break open as many breakable objects as I can, as they contain either food to recover my health or money to increase my score. Increasing my score is important, as it gives me extra lives, and trust me, I'm going to need as many extra lives as I can get. Now you're probably thinking, how can I break open the objects without draining my own health? Well, remember how I said all characters had 2 special moves? One is performed by holding a directional button as you press the special button. I call this the strong special. The other requires you to be standing still as you press the special button. I call this the AoE special. The strong special is more powerful and will drain your health bar every time it's used, regardless of whether it hits anyone or anything. However, the AoE special will only drain your health bar if it hits an enemy and not a breakable object. This means breaking these objects with the AoE special is completely free if an enemy doesn't get caught in the attack. Other than breaking objects, the AoE special is best used for crowd control when you're surrounded. Another helpful tactic is grappling enemies with weapons. This is done just by walking right up to them. This doesn't cause any damage and it will cause them to drop their weapon, making them much less of a threat. Grappling also has other uses. Sometimes you can use it to lure enemies over and ready for you to use a special attack, and you can get by a crowd by grappling and flipping over the enemies' heads. Most bosses and mini-bosses behave differently, so knowing which special move to use and when to use it will help reduce the damage you take. At certain points in the stages you'll find chickens that fully heal you, but it's best to wait for your health bar to be as low as possible before eating these in order to maximise the number of times you can use your special attacks. Be warned though, sometimes when all enemies on screen have been defeated, the game will transition to the next screen and you won't have time to eat it. Something else worth noting is that each time there is a transition like this, you recover a small bit of health. As I got to the end of stage 1, I was very low on health, but I managed to grab a chicken before anyone hit me. The stage 1 boss has an annoying habit of blocking your attacks, which wastes your health. But if you want to knock him down, then an AoE special works. But it is very possible to catch him with a strong special, and with that I completed stage 1 with no deaths at all. You even gained points at the end of each stage, which was enough for another extra life, and trust me, things will get harder later on. Stage 2 introduces these annoying biker enemies, but a well-timed AoE special will knock them right off. Sometimes their own bike explodes and hurts them without you having to do anything, which is just fantastic. Some enemies can be a little more aggressive, however their tactics are mostly the same. Just be sure to pick up the second extra life hidden just up here on this screen. Time for the stage 2 boss, and he's actually not that hard. He mostly flies over you, swoops down at you, although for a boss he doesn't have a lot of health. So well-timed AoE specials are the answer here. Stage 3 now, and the usual tactics aside, there's little to say about the beginning. Just make sure to clear the area and then break all the arcade machines for the money inside. It's the next area that I took my first death of the run. You see, you can't actually kill yourself with the overuse of special moves. Once your health is too low, the game simply doesn't let you use either special move, not even the AoE special for breaking objects. In those situations you're forced to take a hit and lose a life. There is an easy to find extra life in a crate soon after, so it wasn't too much of an issue. However, it's here that the game introduces ninjas. They're quick, but a bit of patience to lure them in makes beating them easy enough. Be careful when breaking these blue eggs. They explode when hit, so get away after you hit them. Soon you're up against another mini-boss. A series of AoE attacks brings him down easily enough. I now found myself with very low health and not enough health to perform a special attack, and with one enemy left on screen that I had to beat before I could move on, I had no other choice but to take a death here. However, there is a hidden extra life at the bottom of the screen right here, directly below where the mini boss was. The stage 3 boss is easily the hardest part of the run so far. He has a series of quick attacks that can catch you off guard, and I don't suggest grappling him either. Instead, bait his quick attacks in and time an AoE special as he's about to hit you. When your health gets too low, you can grab a chicken and then just carry on. With this tactic, I barely had enough health to avoid losing another life. On to stage 4, and we kick things off with this annoying guy with a knife, followed by this annoying man with a pole. I really thought I had avoided the swing for a moment, but apparently not. These things combined saw me lose yet another life. I was then a victim of more pole strikes and a throw, which ensured I didn't have enough health to clear the screen, forcing me to take a backhand and lose another life. I did manage to take out 4 enemies at once shortly afterwards though, which was nice. But it's now where the game throws Big Ben at you to ensure that I lost yet another life. Exactly 2 strong special attacks later and I'm at the elevator section. Things can start to feel a bit claustrophobic here as you're constantly being surrounded by dropping enemies. Sometimes I got lucky as they landed right into my attack, and other times the enemies landed right on top of me and outnumbered me enough to take another life from me. I got out of the elevator with little health remaining and I was about to go up against perhaps the most annoying boss in the game. The ultimate warrior, Abadidi. I immediately set my sights for the chicken, but in a moment of hesitation I was dived on and thrown on my head. Life lost. Do not grapple or use strong special attacks on this boss, he just breaks right out of them. However, this boss's eagerness is his biggest downfall. Just spam the AoE specials like this, he'll charge or dive right into them. Any AoE special that doesn't hit him won't drain your health, so use the chicken to top your health up if you need to, and carry on. I gained a life upon clearing this stage too. Stage 5 brings the Stage 1 boss and the Stage 2 boss back as mini-bosses this time. The tactic remained the same, however I did take a death here. The next section sees you having to avoid bombs being thrown at you and ninjas with swords. Needless to say I took another death here. And then another. This led me to one of the more unpredictable bosses in the game. At first, it seemed like I couldn't land a strong special properly, he either blocked it or broke out of it, so I stuck with the AoE specials for a while. But then I tried a strong special again and this time it connected. Like I said, unpredictable. However, this boss still hits like a truck and he ended up taking my last life. But in this game you get 2 continues, so I came back with 5 lives after each continue, so the run wasn't over yet. From there I was able to take him down, gain a life and move on to stage 6. And then a couple of ninjas made sure I didn't hang on to that extra life for long. After getting past them I found myself under attack by kickboxers. Beating them did get me another life though. I then lost 2 lives in the next area after a stretch of enemies with little to no health pickups, which then leads me to the stage 6 boss, which is actually the stage 2 and stage 3 bosses at the same time. I was able to grab the chicken right when I needed it, and then I defeated one of the bosses with the AoE specials, but I did lose another life right after. A few more AoE specials later, and I finally got the other boss. Stage 7 now, and this stage doesn't waste time overwhelming you. The start is fairly generous with its health and money pickups though, but now it seems the very ground is against me as it moved me out of my strong special combo. And hey, here's another extra life. The pickups really have been kind to me on this stage. The final stretch of the level is an extended elevator sequence full of enemies dropping from above and bosses from older stages. There's only 1 chicken on the elevator, so I made sure to put it to good use. However, due to the sheer numbers here, I did lose another life, but then I came back with a vengeance and took out 5 at once. It was then another case of fighting 2 bosses at the same time, but at least they were unique this time. The good thing is, you can hit them with strong specials, no problem. However, good luck hitting both at once. They jump all over the place and can attack at range. 1 life lost later and I was able to isolate them and take them down. And now here we are on the final stage and even more recycled bosses return in abundance. In what's essentially a gauntlet as we get closer to the final boss fight. This is easily going to be the most difficult stretch of the run. Thanks to these recycled bosses I lost a total of 3 lives and was down to my last continue, and I had 4 lives to spare. The end was in sight. After dispatching the small fry, I then had to take on Shiva. He attacks very fast and kicks his way out of strong special attacks, which I found out at the cost of a life. From there I spammed AoE specials until I'd beaten him. It was now time for the game's final boss, Mr. X. And it seems he was the only character in the game who had the sense to bring a gun to a fist fight. Stand too far away and he shoots you. Stay too close and he hits you with the gun itself. He took me down to 2 lives. I gained another life right after, and from there it was just a case of spamming him with special attacks until he went down for good. Challenge complete. It is possible to complete Streets of Rage 2 with just special attacks. For real though, this challenge actually took me quite a few attempts before I was able to pull it off. The only reason I had 3 lives to spare at the end was because of the practice and the trial and error I put into it. This was super fun to make, and if there are any other challenges you'd like to see me try, then please let me know in the comments below, or in our Discord server. Links are in the description. And if you're still here, thank you for sticking it out to the end of the video. I'd like to give a special thanks to our top supporters, Jelpy, Rooks, Shark, Sarah, Zero Nation, Spectrum V, Neon, Tim, Dancan, Judith, Not a Scroll, and Evolved Pixel. Thank you so much. It's you guys that keep me motivated to make these videos. And if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button, maybe just like the video, anything a little...